In our news bulletin for this evening, a house fire in the township of Olofi has the fire services and the police investigating the cause of the fire. Niue launched its second national communication report on climate change. Public sector emergency management roadmap workshop was held this week. The arrival of the seasonal Colorama fish has local fisherfolk excited. Fire services were quick to respond to a house fire in Olofi that was engulfed by flames in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Following reports from neighbours nearby, the fire rescue and Niue police were called to the scene of the fire, but attempts to put it out was to no avail. Witnesses report that they heard loud bangs but assumed that someone was letting off fireworks, only to see that there were large flames. Investigations continued throughout the day and the Peta Hill Road was closed off and traffic was redirected through Tuila. We were on the scene yesterday and spoke to the Chief of Police while they were gathering information for their investigation in collaboration with the Rescue Fire Service.
We received the call at about 3:15, so we just responded together with fire. So upon the arrival, fire went into action and we just basically coordinated and controlled the traffic, ensuring that public safety was done or complied. So we're quite happy with the response. We're just working together with fire to ensure that their investigation or their assessment adds up to what was the cause of fire and where did it start from, and we're just going to depend on their investigation and work together with them.
The house located at Peta Hill did not have anyone occupying it at the time, but the amount of damage sustained was substantial, and there were also 2 motor vehicles lost in the fire.
You could see that I think most of the valuables and goods in the house, we've lost, and and all we can do now is just look upon, what was in there. The owners are not on the island at the moment, and I'm sure they're devastated. But it's something that we can't avoid, and it's something that we tried to help out to see whether we could salvage as much as we could, but unfortunately that's not the case for this time around. This area is restricted, and we don't want anyone coming into the site, particularly because the owners are not on the island. They will be arriving, so we just like to keep it at a restriction of no public access. So we just want to make sure that the public adheres to this notice. So that's what we're asking at this time.
Niue Police said they will not hesitate to prosecute those who trespass onto this property without authorization, and it is suspected that an electrical fault may have been the cause of the fire, but the investigation is ongoing. Niue has finally completed and launched its second communication report on climate change as part of its obligations under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Niue ratified the UNFCCC in 1996 and submitted its first national communication report in October of 2001. It has taken more than 10 years to collate the information and data based on the various projects and activities that have been implemented to adapt to the effects of climate change. A short launching ceremony was held at the Niue Meteorological Services office yesterday, marking another milestone for the climate change project on the island. We spoke to the Director General for the Ministry of Natural Resources about the significance of this report.
And it can be used for, other technical reports. So we even to develop project proposal for Niue's, looking at how we could enhance our resilience against the impacts of climate change. There's been, even saying that, even though the report just launched, there's been work that has branched out from this project. We've had projects like the water tank project that links to it's linked to the this report. We've had over the years a lot of awareness, and that's like the talent quiz, the singing competition, a whole lot of information that has been compiled over the years. So even though the report is a representation of the work that we've done, the information that we've collected, but it also adds in as a platform for us to further develop. So what we're trying to do is actually continue to monitor, continue to review the current situation. As you know, 10 years ago, probably knowledge on climate change was at, still early, still new, but now we are in a position, we know what's climate change, we're experiencing climate change. So the third national communication will be looking at what can we do going on to the next level, what are the things that it's reflected in the report but needs to be, implemented.
According to the Acting Premier, who is also the Minister for Natural Resources, Honourable Billy Talangi, climate change has affected our environment, such as crops growing in and out of season and the intensity and frequency of tropical cyclones we have experienced for this season. This report is to help mitigate ways to prevent and also to find ways to help us adapt to the new situations caused by climate change. The second National and Communication Report will be formally presented to the UNFCCC in the coming months. Emergency management personnel have been in a 4-day workshop for efficiency in disaster and emergency management. The meeting is focused on facilitating a more collaborative service with the Niue Fire, the medical, outside services and the police department in order to standardize disaster and emergency management operation systems in Niue. While here in Niue, the area's commander of the New Zealand National Training Centre, Ian Pickard, took the opportunity to present the Airport Fire Service of Niue some additional rescue and safety equipment valued at several $1,000s. The ability to respond more effectively and in a coordinated way to evaluate, take appropriate action and provide support is paramount to the Disaster Management Council of Niue. The 4-day workshop concluded today at the scenic Matawai Resort. It's Colorama season and the little fish has got the community excited. The first signs of their arrival are the little lilies blossoming around the villages. Already there have been some stories of fishermen collecting bucketfuls of these fish, and the fishing spots, one of them being the Brampet Avasele, has proven to be a popular spot that draws in those who are keen to get as many as they can on high tide. Colorama is one of the only pastimes on the island where everyone of all ages can access the rugged cliff tops or sea tracks to the fishing grounds can enjoy. The Niue Tourism Office have also issued notification for visitors to be mindful that various sea tracks such as Hio, the Tuapa Sea Track, Pofitu and the Avasele Beach are now closed for swimming due to the Colorama season. That concludes our news bulletin for this evening and for this week. We do hope that you have an enjoyable weekend ahead and join us again for our next news bulletin next week.